Yeah, so this is the Detroit FM AM retro radio, and this is the manual that comes with the radio, the user's guide. It's pretty concise, pretty small manual. It tells you all the things you need to know, like setting the alarms and what the different functions on the radio, what they are, setting the clock, snooze, sleep function, tuning, volume, a little troubleshooting guide. You know, if you're not getting good reception or no sound, try this, try that, that sort of thing. The AM range is 520 kilohertz to 1710, and FM is 87.5 to 108 megahertz for AA batteries. And it does come with a power adapter wall cube, which is 6 volts, 6 volt wall cube at 1000 milliamp hour or 1 amp, 6 volts. I haven't tried the wall cube yet. I'm probably going to run it off of just the batteries. I kind of like that it has the capabilities of running off the battery. I really bought it because of the way it looks. It's really a handsome looking radio. It's got this retro grill, like a car grill, and it's got these 2 big knobs. The handle is metal, but everything else on it is plastic. This chrome is just plastic, and the blue and the white, all that's plastic. The only metal part's the handle and the telescoping antenna here on the top, which is about, I don't know, 18 inches or so long for the FM reception. And we'll just go over what we got here on the top of the radio. We have the tuning knob over here, volume knob over here. We have a standby, or aka power button here, the mode button to switch between AM and FM, scan for scanning for your frequencies. Then you have a preset where you get 20 presets for FM and 10 presets for the AM band. We have the sleep snooze button here, alarm number 2, alarm number 1, and the clock button. So it has 2 separate alarms, so you can have it go off at 2 different times. It can wake up to either the radio, which would be the last radio you were listening to, whatever you had it tuned to, it'll wake you up to that. Or you can have it buzz, make a buzzing sound to wake you up as well. The back here has just got the 6 volt in, or the headphone jack here, and 4 AA's in here. Now, why they put the headphone jack on the back of the radio, and it's supposed to be a clock radio, I don't know. There are a few things that are kind of curious about this radio. I mean, it's a nice looking radio, but if you notice all these buttons on the front, they're all the same button, and they're all smooth finish. There's nothing on them. When you run your fingers across it, you can't distinguish one from another. And this is the sleep snooze button right here. So you've got 3 buttons to the left of it and 4 buttons to the right of it. So if this thing goes off in the morning, you're going to be, trying to find that magic snooze button with your hand. And I don't know how successful you would be at that. I really think they should have made the sleep snooze button bigger or a different shape, or at least put some kind of texture on the top of it so you could feel it with your finger. Oh yeah, that's the snooze button. Because otherwise you're going to have a hard time telling which one is which. The other thing is, if you look at the radio, you're going to have it sitting like so, and if that's the case, and it's say on your nightstand or headboard or whatever it is, you're not going to be able to see the clock. You have to have this radio sitting lower than your head to be able to see the clock. So you won't be able to see that looking at it from this angle. So you have to look down at it to be able to see the clock. That's the other thing that's kind of difficult, because if you want to see what time it is in the middle of the night, you're going to have to be at the right angle. You have to be above it to be able to see the clock. Otherwise, you're just going to be staring at the front of the radio. The other thing is, it's got one of these it's got a knob for the volume, but it's not like an analog pot where you can just dial it down, you know, to some really low setting. It's got steps, 1 through whatever, and I find the lowest volume, the number 1, because if you turn it to 0, it'll totally mute it, but the volume number 1 is still way too loud, because you got to figure, if it's got to be within arm's reach, because you're going to have to be able to reach it to hit the snooze bar. So that's only a couple of feet away from your head in your ears. So that you really need a really fine tune for the volume to get the volume level low, so that you can hear the music or whatever you're listening to and still be able to fall asleep, that it doesn't wake you up. We'll turn it on here, and I'll show you what I mean. We'll try maybe an FM here. Let me raise the antenna.
Product issued a mandatory global recall due to product defects. If you've had hernia surgery and have experienced complications,
all right, let me see. There's volume 4. There's 1. Now, it might not sound that loud to you, but when you're fairly close to it, it still seems like you might want it a little lower than that. And of course you can raise it up from there. Like that's only 4, 5. That's really loud. So that's just kind of my my take on it anyway, as far as that goes. It doesn't sound too bad. The sound quality is, you know, pretty good for a radio like this. This is more kind of like I guess a novelty kind of thing, you know, with the looks of the radio. Although I was a bit disappointed with its AM performance. Not that it was horrible, but I live in Michigan, and just across the lake is basically Chicago, so you know, probably less than 100 miles across the lake, and they have several you know, 50,000 watt AM stations, you know, WGN, WBBM, and so forth. And I'll turn that on here on the AM mode and let you listen to that. Okay, this is WGN 720, and I have the radio oriented in the correct direction to pick up WGN, and that's what it sounds like. And that's, in my opinion, total crap. I mean, I have some $8 radios that pick it up crystal clear. You know, I know they probably spent all the money on the shiny chrome and the color and the handle and all that stuff. But you know, if somebody can make a radio, a pocket radio for $8 and send it over from China, you would think they could at least get that kind of AM reception with a radio like this. So yeah, my kind of standard is if the radio can't pick up a Chicago station from where I live, it's probably not a very good radio as far as AM reception goes. And this one does pick it up, but there's a lot of noise in with it. And I've tried, I had rechargeables in it and I put regulars in it. Thought maybe the voltage, when it gets a little bit low, maybe it has difficulty. But no, a fresh set of alkalins in here and it performs the same. So the AM is a bit disappointing. Particularly for a clock radio, if you were going to use this at night and you know, listen to a station, or you know, maybe just seeing what you can pick up and have it on and, you know, fall asleep to it. This is a little fatiguing with this amount of interference here. I mean, that's WGN. I mean, you can hear it, you know what you're listening to, but all that noise is just horrendous. And, you know, it ought to be able to do better than that. Now, I don't know if this is just my particular radio or if they're all like this. I honestly don't know. I'm kind of debating on whether or not I want to hang on to it or not, or maybe I want to send it back. But it doesn't do too bad on FM, and you know, it really bought it just for the looks anyway. So I haven't really decided yet on that one. But it does okay on FM as far as picking up stations. I won't really bother scanning the AM band, because if it's not a local station, it's just really noisy and muddy like that, unfortunately. Let me get some FM on here and maybe just go through a couple stations pretty quickly and see what we can come up with.
Just watch. We could get all 5 guys on the same page, going in the same direction.
How do you keep the defense from knowing what, you know, where you're pointing is something?
Heard about it. In it, Ozzy Osbourne / Let Me Kill Mister and so many more. Check out the trailer, then I'll tell you where to see it.
I've seen a few things in this.
5-year-old read the Bible through this year.
Sweet, L&N carpet cleaning. Sarah Lily, relationship.
How is it that he's being reconsidered for?
The party that wins the most seats should be able to form the government. And the other convention.
Deal. I don't want to be responsible.
Complete details, visit bestfcu.org. That's
when she's me, you know you love it.
If you ever love me.
Anyway, we won't dwell too long with the FM music that's being played, but that kind of gives you an idea of what it sounds like. It does sounds fairly decent on FM anyway, and I think I don't know. I didn't try the adapter, but I have a feeling that since it's on battery, that it has this kind of save mode where it basically turns off the backlight. If you hold it and hit the light just right, you can see the clock is still going, but there's just no backlight. And when you hit the button, then the backlight comes on. So I think that might be just a battery function. If you had it plugged in, perhaps it would just stay on all the time. I'm not sure. I haven't tried that. But it is a nice looking radio. It's the Detroit FM AM retro radio. Comes in 4 different colors. This nice blue, a green, a black, and a red. So if you're interested in a radio for, you know, a retro look, kind of a 50s car look, it seems like it's made fairly decently outside of the AM receiver and a few of the other nitpicks, like these buttons here. They're all exactly the same, and the snooze button is this one here, 3 away from that side and 4 away from that side, and there's no different texture or anything on the snooze. So when the alarm goes off, you gotta figure out which one of those buttons is the snooze. They should have made it a, you know, a bigger size, a different shape, a texture on it or something, so you could pick it out. And yeah, I don't know. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but the volume is over here and the tuning is over here, and I always end up turning the wrong knob. So I kind of, for whatever reason, think that the volume was over here and the tuning's over here. Maybe that's just me, or it is backwards some other radios. I don't know. But like I say, if you're interested in one for just the looks of it, maybe not be too bad. But if you're looking to do any AM radio listening outside of your area, you're probably not going to be too happy with it. I got this radio for, it was a coupon, a 20% off, and it was $10 off if you had Prime, and so I paid a little over $40, like $41 as regular $59.99, $60. I don't think I would pay $60 for this radio, and even $40 with the way the AM is probably too high, unfortunately. If they could get the AM radio to work decently, I would say it'd be nice purchase for the $40 range, but I don't know. Maybe it's just this one. Maybe they're all this way. I don't know. Anyway, I thought you guys might want to take a look at this Detroit FM AM retro radio. I thought I'd show it off to you and let you take a look. So until next time, this is the Radio Geek.